This is Perspective as a Motherfucker. Sit back, strap in, relax. Cue transition.
Like your brain already stepped up and it walked off the stage.
And if you just realize that if you just get a little bit better every single day, you'll be so much further than so many more. Unless there's a fire on the side.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Perspective as a Motherfucker. My name is Aaron Streeter. I'm your host with my guest host over here, JP3. I have a good guest for you guys today. Not only a good friend of mine that I used to work with in the insurance industry pretty closely, but also a person that's a hell of a recruiter. We're going to be talking about not only the Great Resignation, but as far as, how that relates to, corporate recruiting and also recruiting as a whole. And without further ado, my guest for today, Chris Witherspoon.
What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, brother.
I appreciate the introduction. It means a lot to me. Glad to be here on Perspective as a Motherfucker.
Thank you. So, it's been a while, man.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since I've seen you. You know what I mean? But looking good. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Glad
Appreciate
you're doing your thing. Glad that you invited me to the show. Couldn't, think of a better place to be tonight, right? So glad to be here and glad to, kind of talk to you and kind of get into some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Okay. So, I know for the audience, as far as, who you are to me or, how we even met. Well, we wouldn't have met without, of course, my,
JP, right?
Yeah, JP.
Yeah.
He's actually the one that actually brought me into the company that we were all, working at. And of course, as time goes on, we kind of, moved to, different, places. I'm still in the company, licensed and everything like that. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, man, what have you, since you've kind of, you're still in the company, but, you kind of step back, what have you been up to?
Yeah, man. So honestly, it's just kind of thinking about the next moves, right?
Okay.
And what I really realized is that that same excitement that I had at the beginning of the company, it just kind of started to phase out, and I just started to think a little bit bigger, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all, and I just started thinking about, what my passion truly is, man. And the one thing that I've always been good at is relating with people, man. I absolutely love people, just understanding why they tick, what makes them tick. And I'm the type, my mom always told me since I was a kid, I've never met a stranger, right? And because of that, I always knew that I need to be around people, right? That's just my passion. That's what fuels me, right? So I knew that even though I wasn't with the company anymore, recruiting is something that I do have a passion for. And recruiting is something that is truly valuable, right?
Yeah.
Helping individuals find out what their passion is, or helping individuals find out where their home is, their career home is. That's important, right? And I realized if I could be that pivotal person in a person's life to help them to get to that next job, or help them to get to that next income, or help them to get to their next dream, why not, right? And I also realized it was very profitable to be in recruiting as well, right? So after the business, I started to get back to my roots. I started looking at different ways that I could be a recruiter, whether it be for a company, whether it be for myself. And then I took a dive into corporate recruiting, man, which is a very, very big step for me, especially coming from where we're coming from. It's a completely different world, and I believe that. Working with the company and getting that experience and having that energy of entrepreneurship is something that I still wanted, right? I still wanted to feel like my own boss, right? So, with the company that I'm with now, man, I work, the hours that I want to. I don't have to really report to anybody. It's kind of like a results-driven business, right? So, and I'm a big fan of that, right? Because I know what I can do when the ball's in my court. I just don't need you to be over my shoulder every day telling me what to do.
Of course.
Right. So to be able to be in that situation to where I can work with a company to help people to find their dreams and to get to the job that they want to be. And then I still feel good about it and then be paid well to do so also. I figured that's the steps that I should start taking after the business. Okay. Right. So right now, that's exactly what I got into, man. It's got back into recruiting. Right. So it's like I never left.
Yeah. For you, you've taken, I haven't known you for, super long, but your story is, it's one of those like it's one of those stories that you've been in so many different situations, so many, in a few different industries, as being as young as you are. But I was going to take it all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, where are you from originally?
So originally, man, I was born in Virginia,
Okay.
right? Born in Fort Lee. My father's military, so I was born on base, but I wasn't there long, right? He took us all over the world. So I'm from Germany. I've been all over Europe. I've been on 5 of the 7 continents now today. But
What's your favorite? What was your favorite continent?
Africa.
Ooh.
Africa, hands down, man.
Okay.
Ethiopia was absolutely beautiful. Don't believe what you guys see on TV, man.
You can't.
Africa's absolutely gorgeous, man. It was absolutely insane. I went on a water ride, like through the safari. We saw hippos in the water, and we went to this resort, and monkeys was eating out of my hand, man. Like
Wow.
It was absolutely insane, right? So shout out to Pops, right, for putting that traveling spirit in me, right? Because I believe that being able to travel helps your perspective so much.
Yeah,
It helps your
100%.
perspective so much, right?
Yeah.
So I was born in Fort Lee. Father moved us out to Germany, lived in Germany for a while. We traveled around with the military, came back to the United States, went from Kentucky, went from Tennessee, then we went back to Virginia, right? And that's where I really grew up, man, is in Newport News, Virginia, man, 757.
Okay.
Right, so I grew up in Newport News, Virginia, went to elementary school there, went to, middle school there, went to high school there. And, once I got into high school, that's when everything started to kind of change for me,
Okay.
right? My brother passed away, you know what I'm saying, at the end of my high school career, actually 1 year after that high school career. And that's when everything started to kind of take a change for me, you know what I mean?
Good.
And for my entire family, right? I'm not going to say that, my family was poor or anything like that. We were a middle-class family, but literally that death, it changed everything. It changed the dynamics of everything.
Usually how that goes.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And especially because my brother was the individual that was kind of like a father,
Okay.
right? You know what I'm saying? My sister's 12 years older than me. Shout out to my sister. Love you to death, right? But my sister's 12 years older than me, so she was kind of gone doing her own thing, right? You know what I mean? My mom is working late hours. My dad is working late hours. So it's just me and him. You know what I mean? So when I lost him, I kind of lost a piece of myself.
Of course.
Right. And I tried to start being an individual that I wasn't. Started hanging around the people that, you know what I mean? You're trying to be cool. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be that guy.
Yeah.
Right? And then I realized I wasn't that guy. I had a gun to the back of my head and I was like, oh shit, this isn't for me. Right? You know what I'm saying? This thug life ain't for me. You know what I'm saying?
That was about that life?
And then
Not
the
about
crazy
that
thing is that I started to see my friends get locked up. I started seeing people die left and right. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget, I had a gun to the back of my head and I made a decision. I said, listen, you can go the same direction and have your mom lose 2 sons, or you can go in a different direction and make sure that you can make her proud.
Yeah.
I decided to take the latter, right? And from there, after that happened, man, I decided to take a contract overseas.
Yeah.
I went to Iraq. Well, let me back up a little bit before that, right? Before I went out there, man, I started working for a home improvement company. You guys know, 2008.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Took a hit, man. Milani Brothers is the company that I was working for. They took a hit. They went under. And here I am, a young kid, man. I had a mortgage after my brother passed away.
Yeah.
My parents moved away. They divorced. So I'm trying to figure everything out in Virginia, right? And once that hit, I couldn't pay my bills, man. And I was just like lost. I was like, what the hell am I going to do next? And luckily, my father, like I said, he was overseas. He did the military thing, retired 20 years in the Army, warrant officer, right? And he started contracting overseas and he told me about it. He says, hey, man, you should try to come over here. And I was like, well, shit, I'll go over there and catch a bullet for $100,000 instead of catching one here in Newport News for free, right? So I said, let me go ahead and take a trip to Afghanistan, man, or to Iraq first, right? Yeah. And bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm a kid from Newport News, right? And we suburban kids. We're not thinking about being in no goddamn desert, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, when I flew over there, I'll never forget, man. I get off of the plane and we're in Dubai. And I'll never forget, it's like we fly in, it's like 2 a.m. So it's really, really early in the morning. But bro, once they opened that airplane door, it felt like the oven door.
God.
I literally thought to myself, Chris, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you, bro? You're in the Middle East right now, bro. What the hell are you thinking? You're from Newport News, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Where we don't do much. You know what I mean? We damn sure ain't going to no Middle East, right? And I was scared, bro. I turned 21 in Iraq.
Wow.
Sure.
I turned 21 in Iraq.
That must have been interesting.
Bro, I never forgot. I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone, my ex-girlfriend at the time, Allison. That's previous, right? That's previous, right? But nah, I was talking to my girlfriend in a bunker, bro.
Wow.
I never forget. I was talking to her in a bunker, man, and it was just weird because it was away from everything that I knew, right? Everybody that I knew, like all my friends, everything, I just packed up everything and just left, right? And it was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Sometimes you got to do that. There's a lot of people that don't understand. Like, I did that several times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I did it when I was 20, went, from, New Jersey over to Pittsburgh. And then I got my first introduction as a contractor on a military base over in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
So that was my first introduction to
the
Yeah. So that was my first introduction to the South. But I would have never, and that was, doing windshield repair on bases and stuff like that. I would have never had those experiences if I didn't get outside my comfort zone. I packed up the little twin size bed I had, and
yeah.
And it's something that so many of my friends or even my my siblings are like, you were so brave. I was like, no, there's so much world out there, so much country than where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, I had sisters that were doing really well now, but it was just like, you guys can go anywhere. It's like, I don't know where to go. Anywhere.
Just get a car.
And like, they're like, wait, you're just going to get it? It's like I came down here. I'm a little bit different. So I came down here March of 2017. I used to work in a labor union. So hard hat, work boots, union benefits, forklift operator. I had the opportunity to come down here, sold off every single thing in my house, in my apartment, and I got on a train, I got on a plane, came down there. Now, unfortunately, I had some legal, financial obligations, whatever the case may be. I had to come back here. 3 weeks later, so like April Fool's Day, I came back.
Yeah.
I was not happy. Had my apartment, car, everything like that, sold all that stuff. Had to sleep on my sister's couch. Because I had to do that before. Mm-hmm. I was right next to my little brother. Within 8 weeks, took care of all my legal obligations, gave him a little bit of money, got me a little car for about $750.
Yeah.
But, brakes on it. Took care of everything. Drove that bitch out of New Jersey. I didn't come back for almost 2 years. But I drove a 2001 Chevy Malibu. I got it for $750. I drove that bitch down to Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Did what I needed to do. And I didn't come back to Jersey for like 2 years. And I've been here now for almost 5.
Bro, it takes a certain kind of mindset to do that. Yo.
It's hard.
Yep.
It's hard, but it's
worth it.
Like, coming down here was the best decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, for you, if you could tell a younger version of yourself anything that would have caused you maybe less pain and less drama, what would that be?
Patience, man.
That's hard.
Patience, you know what I mean? You just always want results so quickly, and you feel like you're so far off from what you really want.
Yeah. And
if you just realize that if you just get a little bit better every single day, you'll be so much further than so many people in the world. That's true. Right? That's what I would literally tell myself. I'm an action-oriented guy, so sometimes I just move. I just run. You know what I'm saying? I hear an idea, I just want to go with it. I just want to go with it. But a lot of the times, that's not the best thing. Right? Yeah. Sometimes you need to sit back. You actually need to think on those things right before just jumping into it and just saying, oh, you know what? I'll catch the next one.
Or I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
And you get to a point where, like, I'll never forget this. An old boss of mine used to say, Aaron, there's two types of people. There's people that get up open the door, go through it, and there's people that run through the door. You're the person that runs through the door.
Facts.
Which is great to a certain point, but
unless there's a fire on the other side.
Yeah. Or maybe no floor.
Or that part, right? Or no floor, right? You know what I mean?
Sticks.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, it can be very beneficial to run through a door.
Yeah.
Right? It can be very beneficial. But that goes back to what I was saying, man. You know, just having that patience to kind of to decide, hey, listen, do I want to go through that door? Is it really aligned with who I am?
Yeah.
Right. And what I realized as a kid, I didn't know who I was. I was trying to be a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? You try to do what's the coolest thing or the trends and everything like that. And that's not who you really are. So having the patience to understand who you are and what aligns with you and what you really want for your outcome. That's the biggest thing that I would tell myself. Right. Who cares about best dress or, you know, most popular or any of those types of shit. You know what I mean?
You figure out that if you were just yourself the entire time, life would have been so much easier.
And it's like so cliche.
Yeah, you're not born as yourself. You have to discover who you are. Yeah. And some of those experiences that you have, some of those doors you run through that, you know, later on you wish that maybe you opened it and looked inside first. Some of those experiences really shape you. Facts. And they help define exactly who you are. Like, you're not going to just know from elementary school, oh, this is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be. I'm going to choose my friends like this. Like, that's not how
it's not. It's not.
You know, you got to go down some wrong roads before you figure out what the right one is. Like, you don't know what kind of food you don't like until you taste lima beans. You realize they're the worst thing ever created.
That's true. That's very true. And it also just goes back to taking a little bit of time, right? Just being a little bit patient, right? To say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm going to nibble on this lima bean before I just buy a whole plate. You know what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
So it breaks down, and I love that you said that, man. So it kind of breaks down to that, man. But just to answer your question, just patience, man. I was always just moving way too fast, right? Just always so fast and always expecting things to happen like microwave.
And then you're always comparing yourself to the next person
100%.
when you don't know
what they've been
you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they did to get to where it is. You just see the finished product. So many of us see the finished product, and you don't see the growth. You don't see the 10,000 hours that they put in to get to where they need to be.
And that was then. That was pre-social media.
Pre-social media.
Yeah. It was so much easier to stay in your lane then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was still hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, that's just to kind of look at it, you know, I'm just so glad now that I had that gene, right? Where I can kind of sit back and it's probably just because I'm old as shit now, you know, I'm getting older, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, I don't need to be running around, like, let me take a beat.
Yeah, let me take a beat, you know what I mean? Make a decision, you know what I mean? Before I actually, you know, when I left the company, you know what I mean? Or not, I shouldn't say I left the company, but when I decided to take my talents to
somewhere else.
When I decided to take my talents to South Beach, right? You know what I mean? I just started to move a little bit slower, right? It took me about 5 months for me to find the position that I really wanted, right? And I had several offers.
I mean, plus you have like you have hell of experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it was
as far as recruiting, and then also in the tech, the IT field as well. Mm-hmm. So, initially, what attracted you to recruiting?
Man, that's crazy, right? Kind of goes back to what JP was saying. Like, you have to go through those experiences, right? So, you know, we stopped off while I was overseas. I came to Florida, and man, I couldn't find a job for shit. When I came back from Florida, even with a degree in IT, right?
Which is crazy.
Even with a degree in IT, after, you know, being on contracts, working with, you know, NATO, working with all different types of militaries, leading a team when I was in Afghanistan, I couldn't find a job when I came home.
That's crazy.
And that really blew my mind. And I was still old fashioned, bro. When I came back home in 2013, you know, I left in 2007, 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. Right? So when I came home in 2013, I thought you still applied for jobs the same fucking way. Like, you know, you go with an application and the suit, you go to the place that you wanted. No. You know what I'm saying? They had staffing agencies. And I had a recruiter that reached out to me. She found me a job the same day.
Damn.
For SIVA, doing logistics.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I was like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that she found me. And that was really quick. Right? So we stayed in touch. And then she got me a contract with a company called Comcast Spotlight. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I started working for them for a little while. You know, the company that I was working with, Robert Half, they said, hey, listen, you know, we've been following you. We want to, keep you in our circle. We have an opportunity down here. Why don't you come check it out? And they were the ones that helped me find a job when nobody would give me one. I mean, I was out of work for like a year, bro. Living with my mom, you know what I'm saying? Coming back from Afghanistan, not knowing what the hell I was going to do, right? So when they gave me that opportunity at Comcast, I said, listen, I'm going to turn this contract into a hire, which I did. Stayed there for a while, and then Robert Half offered me a job. And I was like, hey, listen, I'll come down there and talk to you because you guys helped me. And if you guys helped me in my lowest point, what if I could do that same thing for somebody else? Yeah. Right? So that's how I got into recruiting, man. And what I realized is I was good as shit at it.
That I can definitely.
Yeah. I was good as shit at it, and
it's. I have to cut you off, but because I've seen as far as I can't even say the damn word, but especially in the company that we've all stepped away from, some in a very permanent, basis, and some of us not so much, but you'll see. You get to see all types of people, as far as how they recruit. Mm-hmm. Some of them recruit with energy. Some of them recruit with knowledge or facts. And even myself, where I've recruited all types of people that I just people that I think it's the funny. Well, why? But also, it's the funniest thing where it's especially when it's someone that nobody else could get, and you got them for whatever reason. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna choose you. Yeah, you're gonna get me where I need to be. So, and it's just something like that skill set where I feel even we've all been through it where. I guess recruiting gets a bad name, or a lot of people it's a bad taste in people's mouth. But I don't really think the average employee really understands what recruiting is.
Not just the employee, the average person.
Yeah.
Right. Recruiting is okay when I'm finding you a job.
Exactly.
Right. Recruiting is not okay when I'm trying to get you to sell insurance.
Yeah.
Right. let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Or juice.
Or juice or wraps or anything like that. It has a negative connotation, right, to it. Right. So there's nothing wrong with recruiting whatsoever. And what I realized is that the reason why I was such a good recruiter is because I didn't try to recruit. What I did was I just talked to people about what the outcome wanted to be, and then I was just a very, very good person at listening. Yeah. Right? And relating with individuals. That's something that I've been blessed with. I can honestly say that I've been blessed with is relating with individuals, making people feel comfortable, right? And then once a person likes you, they'll pretty much listen to you. And as long as you're an SME or a subject matter expert in whatever you're doing, and you're leading people in the right way, right? Why wouldn't they follow you? Yeah. Right? So what I realize is that when you take the self-accomplishments out of it, right? And you kind of let people be who they're going to be, and you be who you're going to be. Exactly. Right? People will follow you if you have a mission that you're passionate about. Yeah. You just got to have something that you're passionate about that people can feel that passion. The reason why people don't follow others is because they don't feel the passion. Why the hell would I want to follow you if you're not even passionate about what you're doing? Yeah. Makes no sense. Exactly. Right? So I honestly believe that technology has changed the world. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine right now if we didn't have the internet? What would we do? Right. Yeah. So I knew, and I learned a long time ago. This is funny. People laugh at me. I watch a lot of movies, right? But I learned from a movie called God damn it, what's this? Kevin Costner's in it. Mr. Brooks. You guys ever seen Mr. Brooks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so look at this. Everybody sees Mr. Brooks. They look at it as a murder movie, right? Yeah. One thing, he's a murderer, right? He's a rich murderer, right? Yeah. So, but what I looked at was this. Not only, sorry. Spoiler alert! Yeah, don't watch the movie now, right? Don't watch it there, right?
Whoops. Think about this.
But you learn that early though in the movie, though. You learn that early in the movie that he's rich and he's a murderer. Yeah. But either way, one thing that he said in the movie is that you always invest in things that people can't live without. Yeah. It makes plenty of sense. He had a funeral home. Mm-hmm. People gotta die. Cool. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? So that's
if you make them.
Yeah. The guy asked him. He says, let me ask you, why do you own this gravesite? He was like, well, you invest in things that people can't live without. Yeah. People got to pass away. Right now, I believe that there's no way that people can survive without technology. You have some people out there that can, right? But it's very, very minimal.
Off the grid folks, which they're making it very difficult now.
You saw how well that worked for Osama.
Okay. Okay, right? It just doesn't work out well, and it's very, very tough. So I realized if I got into the technology industry, whether it actually be programming, whether it actually be infrastructure, whether it actually be one of those things, that I could win.
Yeah.
That I could win. So I just had to be on the side. And listen, there's always a lot of people out there and companies that need people for tech.
Yes.
Right? So, and they don't want to do the work to find them. Or they may not be able to find that talent that matches with culture, that matches with diversity, that matches with equity, that matches with inclusion. Right? So I realized that, hey, listen, what I'm doing is huge. It's major, right? And now I'm seeing that every company is looking for recruiters everywhere.
Yeah. So
even though I didn't know it at the time, I was setting myself up for the future.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing about, as you said that companies are looking for recruiters, but they're also looking for people. Yeah. And I've been hearing, of course, we've all been seeing the news as far as this whole Great Resignation thing. And I've just been seeing more and more things because I didn't necessarily understand, especially, I say like across the board, like, in different industries, there's like 4.5 million people quit their jobs, but they're saying there's over 11 million job openings. Mm-hmm. So like, and I don't see, I'll see the, GoFundMe's from time to time, but I'm not seeing GoFundMe's. I'm not seeing like people reaching out for help. And I'm not seeing people saying, I want my stimulus. So where are these people getting this money at?
Instagram, OnlyFans. Like, there's just so many different avenues for people to make money. They feel like, hey, listen, I don't have to work a job if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can wake up and Uber for a couple rides, you know what I mean, to make the money that you need to, it's just not going to get you ahead. That's what I just.
It's just not. There's no longevity in it.
The thing is, how much difference is there really though between like dead end, gig economy jobs versus low wage, corporate jobs? Like, other than benefits, if they even have those, which a lot of those don't. Yeah, you're not really any worse off. Now, if a career is different. If you're starting a career like I started in the mailroom, but eventually I'm gonna be an editor for this paper, and you work your way up, then that's one thing. But if you're just gonna be puddling along, flipping bottles at freaking burgers at McDonald's, or a server at Ruby Tuesday, or something where there's no upside,
you might as well go ahead and work on your own.
Yeah, right. I might as well work on my terms instead of like having somebody scrutinize my 15-minute break.
Hence the reason why all these restaurants were struggling. Not just because of the pandemic, but even afterwards. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't want to work anymore because why the hell would I work for you if I could just take a couple fares, right? And make the same money.
Mid-range to low-range restaurants, it's going to be real hard to retain servers because half the time they're over here packing orders to give to the DoorDash guy who's making more and working less than they are.
Are you kidding me? And then on top of that, I don't have to answer anybody. I can get up when I want to, right? And I can get off when I want to, or I can work when I want to.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the Great Resignation is happening, is because there's so many different options out there where our predecessors or our ancestors didn't have those opportunities.
And there's no employee to employer loyalty.
That's been gone for a long time. That's not been the case for
like, especially post pandemic, where a lot of people realize, these employers really don't give a fuck about it.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you, we were just talking about Carvana a second ago, right?
Yeah.
Carvana, I read the article. They let off 2,500 employees, right? They let off 2,500 employees,
and on the same day, they paid $2 billion for an auction house.
Listen to that. What? I did not know that part. That's crazy. So look at this. I let off 2,500 employees, but then I purchased $2
billion they paid for an auction house.
So the company is always going to do what's best for them, and you got to understand that. The company's
and they don't even care enough to even come up with the optics to pretend otherwise. They could at least wait a day or two, and then spend some little line about how it's not related and blah, and this was already in the works for months. No,
catch this.
No.
JP, catch this. So, in the article that I read, 2,500 people let off. Right, one of the ladies was talking about how they let them off. They got them all on the Zoom. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
think about that.
That reminds me of that CEO for Better. Not only did they got like relief, or I think they got like PPP money, or they got like another like investment round or something like that. And the fact that they still got that money, and then he let off so many people. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Like, and he was under fire for it.
Yeah,
but
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy to kind of see those types of things, and listen, kids today, right? We're millennials, right? But you know, these Gen Zs and everything like that, they've seen their parents go through it. They've seen us go through it, right? They've seen their grandparents go through it, right? And they're like, why the hell would I sign up for that? Yeah. Why would I sign up to be in a position to where a company can get me on a Zoom and let me go? Right after I've given all my time, my loyalty to them, and I'm just let go like garbage. Of course, right. Mm-hmm. So I believe that's honesty, but it goes back to JP was saying it's the difference between that career, right? Yeah. The career folks aren't saying that.
No, exactly. And the Great Resignation doesn't apply to real jobs. Like people aren't resigning from jobs that people actually want.
Nah.
Like it says, get you by jobs, those low range, those mid range jobs. Like those are the ones that people are like, all right,
I'm gonna be real with you. Like as a recruiter, bro, and one of the top recruiters, like the Great Resignation hasn't hit me. And the reason why is because the clientele that I'm working with, they not trying to resign. Yeah, they're not trying to ride Uber, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a 1099 job. You make $38,000 in a year, but you're taxed. Right, a lot of people don't even realize. Right, and so it looks good. It looks good for a second.
Like there's a lot of people because I think at one point we've all been on both sides as far as being W-2 and 1099.
Yeah, of course.
And people don't realize a lot of people they want either around the same amount of money or a little bit more, but on their own terms. But with being on your terms, you got to do certain things. You got to do taxes and things like that. Like, I'm doing that right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even I work at a shipyard right now. Mm-hmm. So it's not ideally, what I wanted to do, but I was doing Drizzly, delivering alcohol and doing Go Puff and things like that. And I was running around
town, putting gas on your car for one, miles on your car, and now when your car goes down, now you don't have any way to do any of those jobs anymore.
Exactly. So now I'm more stationary. I'm doing what I need to do, and I'll rock out with this for a year because I've done the all or nothing thing a handful of times. Yeah. Anytime I went full time in my business or at the company, I never had reserves. Yeah. Ever. I went full time up until last August. Yeah. That means I was hustling month to month.
Nonstop.
Month to month. So it was coming in. I was taking care of my rent and everything like that. Office rent, all that stuff. It was great when it was great. Yeah. It was bad when it was bad.
And the thing is, too, is that with this Great Resignation, I don't believe the kids today have that same work ethic. I don't believe that they have the same work ethic as to, hey, listen, every single day I'm going to get up and grind. It's more that I want time I want my time back so I can do what I want. It's not necessarily so I can get better. No. It's so that I can do what I want. And that's one thing that our ancestors couldn't afford.
They couldn't afford.
They couldn't afford that. They had to go to work. They had to put in that hours. They had to do that 40-40-40. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So to kids today, they're like, hey, listen, I don't want to do that 40-40-40. I'm going to figure it out on my own. But as soon as things get hard, guess what? I give up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like the average, you want to say Gen Z, like I'm job hop, from time to time, but like the average people, they might have 20 to 40 jobs within like a 5-year period.
Yeah. What?
Which crazy.
That's crazy.
Bro, you should see how as a recruiter, bro, you should see what I see on on resumes. And I'm going to tell you, that's my one red flag. That's one of my, I shouldn't say it's my one red flag. That's one of my red flags.
That's a big red flag.
If you can't stay loyal to a company or you can't stay loyal to your plan, right? It just doesn't look good for me to hire you on to my company to expect you to leave in 2-3 months or a year.
No.
Yeah. Right?
Because when they do, you can't look and be like, oh, I had no idea that happened.
No, you knew. It's a history.
You knew.
It's a history.
Of course. And it's one thing as far as going to, the next opportunity, which that was what I was doing. I at least stuck it out for a year.
Yeah, of course.
Is that that was just one of the things I never understood personally. I've been working since I was 15. Yeah. Everything that I've ever had worth of value, I've had to get on my own. I had no choice. Mm-hmm. Now, will my kids have that a bit better? Yes.
Yeah, of course.
But it's one of the things where, unfortunately, they say that hard men make soft times.
Hard times make soft. Excuse me.
Good times make soft. Make weak men.
Yeah.
Weak men create hard times.
Hard times create strong men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's one of the things where, again, unless you instill that, there's a lot where the next generation, if you got it from the mud,
yeah,
and then they don't know nothing about that, and
or this, like you got to realize, like the people that you admire, they got that grit. Like you see them in these cars, and you see them like I was watching. So funny, right? Cardi B, right? So I was, I saw a video the other day. It's a funny video of Cardi B, right? And Cardi B was like, "What kind of cars do you own?" She was like, "I got a Lamborghini truck, I got a Bentley, I got this, I got this." He was like, "Why do you need all those cars?" And she was like, "To take pictures in." And people see that and they laugh and like, "Oh, she's so funny, but they don't know her work ethic.
Yeah,
like Cardi B is a workhorse, yo.
Yeah.
So you're admiring her and everything like that, and seeing all her success.
She's younger than us,
but bro, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you right now, like y'all didn't see her in the strip club though.
Nah,
no,
shaking it fast.
Yeah,
right. But then on top of that, you don't see the work ethic in the music industry as well.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you take half the effort it took to ball in the strip club and apply that to any other legitimate source of income, you're gonna win.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, man. And that's what I think was going on right now with the Great Resignation. It looks all sweet and everything right now, but I believe that
it's like,
a lot of kids are going to start
no.
I think they're going to regret it a little bit later on. And the reason why is because
they're not, especially. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're quite good.
Like everybody's thinking, like being an entrepreneur, being your own boss. This shit is hard.
Yeah, it's tough as shit. It's
not.
It's literally it is.
And it's way different than you plug it into like a system that's already established into you building your own shit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times
most businesses fail.
Yeah. So we've all experienced this where like you've been in the industry and people have seen you in that. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with whether you're in real estate, whether you're in car sales or things like that. For some reason, certain people, even people that they won't come around the first year or the second year or the third year.
It's like the fourth, fifth.
The fourth or fifth. And I'm like, bitch, I've been doing this for how long? And it's like, now you want to come on? It's like, what? Because you just need to see if I was about it, basically.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, that was a perfect example. Remember? This predated your time in the company. But, there was a certain individual, and we were trying to instill upon him the necessity of, like, actually cultivating the skills of the business to try to be successful and be your own boss. Mm-hmm. Don't lean on the people you know. Like, don't get into business because you think you can sell your friends and your family a couple of things. Work. That's the wrong plan. Okay. That doesn't work. Right? You have to assume that no one that you currently know will buy from you. Mm-hmm. That's how you create a business plan that might position you to have some level of success.
Yeah.
Was this certain individual made a handful of YouTube videos?
Yes, they may be on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's something where, like, I'm not from here.
Yeah.
Like, 90% of, in my credit repair business and even, with what I did with insurance, 90% of my clients were people I did not know. Like, it was one of the things where you have a lot of people that are going to be like, I don't want to do that. Well, I didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. And when you do it, you can tell people it can be done. Is it difficult? Yes.
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, getting into that situation to where I tried to, where I built the business and, was putting in that grind where we're working, 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was invaluable to what it did for my career.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, this is what people don't realize as well. When you're going through all that hard shit, you're going through all those hard times, what it's making you into.
Yeah.
Right? So, with the company, we were required to read books, like, on a consistent basis. The first time that I was actually, like, an avid reader. Right? To where I still am today. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But literally, in my interview, right, I'm talking to my VP about books that she's giving to the team that I had already read that she hadn't.
That's
like, in my interview.
That's powerful.
That's powerful as shit. So she's already thinking, like, he's already doing things that I'm not doing as a VP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What that made me realize is that all that work that I had put in, it put me at a completely different category than before I started. When I was in Rock, like we were talking about this early, how do I increase my income by $100,000?
Because you increase your worth, your value, and your skill set by $100,000.
100%.
But it's just like when you're trying to succeed, like you were talking about earlier, right? You want to put in 1 hour's worth of work and think that you're going to get an incremental 1 hour increase in results. It doesn't work like that. You put in work, and it's like a laggy piece of software.
Yep.
Like with a slow refresh rate. Like you put in work. It looks like nothing's happening. Mm-hmm. And right about the time you're like, man, let me just stop putting in this work. I'm not getting anything out of it.
It booms.
Then it jumps up.
Yeah.
Like you improve in jumps. It's not a smooth ramp up.
Nope. It's leaps. It's a big leap, right? And one thing that I started to realize is that, oh damn, like if I read these books, right, and I did this interview, my income increased by $100,000, right? Mm-hmm. What if I keep doing this?
Yeah.
What if I keep doing this? Like, bro, like I was telling you guys earlier, I had an interview with the company, bro. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning, and what I did was I wrote out interview questions that I think that they may ask me. I looked at all their leadership principles. Every single one of them I wrote down, and I wrote down questions that I think they would ask me about every single leadership question. Would I have done that 5 years ago? No fucking way in hell. No fucking way in hell. I was you should have saw my resume for Robert Half. It was absolutely horrible. But being in that situation and being around individuals like you, being around individuals that just think a little bit bigger, it changes everything, man. It completely changes everything. And I was very, very blessed to be a part of that, because at the time when I was in the mud, bro, and on those hard times, I was like, this shit ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Bro, it's funny to look back at it now and say, like, yo, it's crazy where I came from. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I'm going to be wrapping this up soon.
Yes,
so I got a couple of questions for you. The biggest one is, your life now, did you envision what it would be all those years ago?
No. And I wanted to be a basketball player, bro. As a kid, man, I played basketball every fucking day. You know what I mean? We won state champions. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to play basketball. You know what I mean? That was the only thing that I saw in my vision, man. And it's just like we talked about earlier. Sometimes you go through those life experiences and then your vision just starts to change a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And before, I also realized when I was younger, I wasn't even me.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a lot of other people, right? I was trying to be that cool guy. I was trying to get the respect of individuals that necessarily didn't deserve my respect, right? You were doing a lot of things to try to be cool, like that just really wasn't cool. And even sometimes when you feel it in your gut that it wasn't cool, you did it anyway.
Yeah.
You did it anyway, right? So my life from there to now and what I see now, bro, just 3 years ago, I thought I wanted a goddamn condo overlooking the beach. I wanted a big condo overlooking the beach until I went to Tennessee with my girlfriend on 6-7 acres at our grandparents' house with mountains all around us. And I said, I want this. This is what I want for my life. Right? So to answer your question, is life the way that I envisioned that it would be? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'm actually thankful for that. Right? Because now that I think about it, man, I wouldn't want to be in the NBA. Would the NBA be cool as shit? Absolutely, man. Would it be fun to be running up and down that court? Absolutely, man. But I also see a lot of pain in their eyes, too.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think that I'm on track to exactly where I'm supposed to be, right? And for who I'm supposed to be. But did I see myself here in Florida being a recruiter? Absolutely not, man.
What I realized... I would say kind of the same thing, because I never thought I'd be here even doing this, like even, throughout this podcast, I've had a severe stutter my entire life. Like, I couldn't even order a pizza to where I would call and they would think I'm playing on the phone and hang up on me. Mm-hmm. I've done, sales and things like that where people, teach me how to, go up and talk to people. People used to watch me crash and burn. And I realized from that point, if I don't learn how to talk to people, I'm not going to make money. Mm. And I realized if I'm calm, I relax, I speak a little bit slower, it doesn't happen. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, though, is that you envision it. See, when you're going through those types of things, you're not envisioning it. I'm going to be honest with you. Bill Gates, the guy that he is today, I don't think he envisioned this life.
Hell no.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Bezos, I don't think he envisioned this life. They had an idea.
Yeah.
They had a great fucking idea.
They didn't think that shit was going to go.
Do you think building out of your garage, Amazon, you think building out of your garage, you thought it was going to be the Goliath or the mammoth that it is in the industry today?
100% no.
Absolutely not.
But the thing is, when you stand on the ground, you can always see the first mountaintop.
Facts.
Right? When
There
you
it
climb
is.
to that first mountaintop, you're now above the clouds, and now you think that you're where you want to be until you look around like, there's higher mountains
There's higher
than this?
places. Oh my God. You have a conversation with an individual and you're like, oh dang, I could be doing that. Yep. Right? And it's going to just turn your life into a different area. And that's how it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you get 1% better, then you'll figure out where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
That makes sense?
So guys, we're about to get out of here. Where can they find you, Chris?
So individuals, if they're looking for me, you can always find me on LinkedIn, Christopher Witherspoon on LinkedIn, and then also on IG. My personal page is C Spoon, right? It's SEE Spoon, right? Nice. You can see Spoon, but then I also have my podcast and the website that I work on, which is Mindset Molders, right? So you can actually search us on Instagram as well, Mindset_Molders.
Okay,
right? So I look forward to seeing all of you guys.
All right, with that being the case, guys, we're out of here. Later.
Peace.